Well, good morning and welcome again to my study on this Wednesday morning. I hope that last week's weather didn't lull you into a false sense of security, because after the sun and blue skies, we are back to a traditional British spring. Grey skies and rain. Never mind. The good thing about this time of year, especially in Pershore, is that we're heading to exciting events. I was at a meeting this week about all the events that are happening in Pershore, and I really do think we are blessed in Pershore with an amazing community. This summer, starting in a couple of weeks' time, we have first our carnival, which will be around the streets on the bank holiday Monday, and then over the rest of the summer we have the Pershore Jazz Festival, we have Midsummer Brass coming to venues near you, we have the River Festival, and of course we have that large weekend known as Plum Fair. I mean, Plum Fair we celebrate all through August, but the last weekend is amazing. In most of those events, it's the community of Pershore that come together. In the Plum Fair, we seem to attract people is what I meant, from all over the region and indeed all over the country. I've met friends from lots of places at the Plum Fair. So again, this year I'm sure it'll be wonderful. We have to hope the sun will shine, but if it doesn't, it'll still be wonderful. There'll be so many things to do. And of course at the Abbey, we're very involved in most of those events. We help out, we make sure that we have in St Andrews for the big events, coffee and homemade cake, which goes down really well. And it helps us all to celebrate this community that is Pershore. But of course none of those events could happen if we didn't have volunteers. All of the events that I've mentioned rely heavily on volunteers, and volunteers are, I'm afraid, getting more and more difficult to find. All of the organisations and ourselves are struggling to find volunteers. It seems that COVID really hit volunteers and things haven't quite got back to normal. So if you can help on any of those events, I know the organisers would be really happy to see you and welcome you with open arms, as we would at the Abbey. We always, as I say, do coffee and cake in the St Andrews during those events, most of those events, and really we can only do it with the help of people who volunteer. We have an amazing range of volunteers at the Abbey. We did a celebration for them and it was just wonderful to see, but we can always do with more. And as a community, of course, it's not just locally that we support. This week you may find that popping through your letterbox is one of these, an envelope for Christian Aid. Christian Aid's been one of the long-standing voluntary organisations in this country, raising money for really people who are in desperate need. Now, it's not been an easy time in this country. We know from our food bank that people have struggled with the cost of living, but of course in parts of the world little problems would seem as nothing. If you get chance, have a look at the Christian Aid website. There are some amazing stories there of what that charity manages to do, of the people who need desperately our help, and who, through our small donations in this little envelope, can really help those people who desperately need it. So if one of these pops through your letterbox, or if you're in town on Saturday, there's a street collection, please give just a little amount. Those little amounts really add up and really make a difference to people in desperate need. So as we celebrate our community throughout the summer, let's also help those communities far worse off than us, in a world that's desperate for peace, hope and love. A message that we have all the time and which I know we celebrate. So if you volunteer, great. If you can, better. And if you can give just a little, thank you. Amen.